Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello, welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. And if you are watching us on any of our streaming platforms or via our E360 TV platform, we welcome you there too. My name is Mariska du Preez and this is Talking Heads. And as you can see, we have on the side there some of my information on how to get hold of me via my email or alternatively, of course, my website or LinkedIn if you so choose. And with that, let's jump into our topic for today, which is leading ourselves while leading others. Now, I've had a couple of coaching conversations with leaders the past while, which I normally do, and it was interesting to see how similar type of topics popped up. And that's why I thought, well, it might be useful also then for this show, because who knows, there might be some of you guys leading out there that has similar things that come up in your world. And some of the conversation was around this. How do I lead myself? How do I show up the way that I want to show up, work on the things that I want to work on while also leading others? And sometimes we feel very, I'm using this word very lightly, but very inauthentic about how we are leading. We might have doubts about, am I doing this right? Am I showing up in the way that I actually want to show up? Or we might be showing up and something went wrong, right? We didn't quite show up the way that we wanted to, and some reaction was had in the process by us or by others because of this. So I thought, well, this might be a good way of helping you also in your leadership journey, wherever that might be, to see how we better ourselves in our own spaces while we're also in community with other people and leading them. And that, to me, I think one of the things that as a leader I've learned, and I'm also seeing other leaders learn through their experiences as we go through the coaching journey, is that there's an element where we continue to grow in ourselves and learn different things in ourselves, and we start to hold the whole system a little bit more lightly than we might have or did when we just started out. So when we step from a specialization into leadership, typically one of the things that's very much in the forefront is the fact that we come from a place of expertise. We know the thing or the people that we are working with, and we need to have the answers. That's what typically within an expertise field we might feel is expected of us. It's not necessarily that it is expected of us, but we might feel that that is the case. And that really comes into our very first thing that I want to discuss today is around expectations and understanding what expectations does, because we have a tendency to set expectations for ourselves, set expectations for others. And I'm not talking about the things that you have discussed with said other person or even with yourself, right? So we have clarity that this is fundamentally grounded in a form of truth. It's more of I am expecting this because I have this way of thinking about it, this belief system, whatever the case might be. And because of that, this is now my expectation. And this expectation may or may not have been articulated in any way, shape, or form with any other people, including myself. So a lot of times we even place expectations on ourselves that we haven't really worked out where exactly that thing comes from or what exactly the expectation is. We just try to live up to it all the time. So that's expectations, and expectations can be a slippery slope. Because if we don't understand and we are not intentional about them and we just sort of leave them, they bubble up all by themselves, it can cause us to have very strained relationships with ourselves because we might not be kind to ourselves. We might not have grace for ourselves because why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? From Shazad's work in positive intelligence, this looks like our judge. So he's identified, I think it's 10 in total, different ways that we could sabotage ourselves. And the one that everybody has is we all have a judge that in some way, shape, or form shows up. Now, it might be that you might think, I don't have a judge. I don't judge other people. I don't judge myself. I don't judge situations. And then I will challenge you that I thought the same about mine, because mine had a tendency to hide in the background. And it was sort of the people behind the scenes and at the back of the stage. So my other saboteurs would show up and they would play the roles, but actually it was my judge pulling all the strings. So once I discovered that, I was like, oh, okay, that expectation setting, those beliefs that we might be living without even realizing them, that's our judge's voice coming through and telling us all sorts of interesting things that may or may not be true and may or may not be serving us. It might have served us at some point because we form these belief systems and these things to help us in some way, shape, or form, but it might not be serving us anymore. So understanding what's going on and helping us and those we lead to explore what exactly is the underlying belief system, way of thinking patterns. You can call it whatever it is that you want to call it. But what's that thing at the bottom that is causing you to behave a certain way, right? Because our behaviors aren't just random things. We might think they are random things, and we might sometimes experience them as random things from other people, but they're not really random. They have something at the bottom that's driving them. And that driving mechanism is part of the expectations that we might have. Now, if we create some awareness around those expectations, we can then become more explicit with them, not only for other people and our team, but also for ourselves. So if you were to think about an expectation where you don't want to fail, right? Failure might have something scary that's attached to it. There's a fear that might be around failing. Now, I know that this isn't the case for everybody. And I have also seen that typically when we move from an expertise field into a leadership space, because we expect ourselves to have the answers to everything, we also have attached it to something. I need to have the answers to something or to everything that the person's going to ask me, because fill in the blank for yourself, right? So the because is the belief system that's driving this having to have the answers. And the having to have the answers, I mean, for a lot of us, mentally, we know that It's not really true. I mean, nobody has all the answers. Think about a really brilliant leader that you know in your environment, right? So think about the one person that, if you could choose any leader in your environment, somebody that can be your boss or somebody that you look up to as a leader, that one person, when you think about their traits, the things that they bring to the table, the answers might not be it. They might not have all the answers, but they might have a process in which to get to answers, in which to work out what might be the best approach to something, what might work best for them. And I have a hair that is annoying me. Sorry about that. So understanding that we don't need all the answers, but there's still something there that's driving it for us. So that's basically what expectations are. Expectations is these invisible drivers that we have, thought patterns and beliefs and all sorts of things that we've built up over time that drives a specific expectation. Now, the expectation is something that we didn't necessarily explicitly verbalize, right? We might not have verbalized it to ourselves, or we might not have verbalized it to our team. Now, the more we can become aware of what those expectations are that we have, that's running our behavior system, the easier it becomes to be explicit about it for ourselves and then be explicit about it with our team. So we start to lead ourselves in the space by uncovering what it is that's below our surface, to also help interactions outside of that with the rest of our team, and to help our team to uncover what it might be that they have, so we can have open conversations about it. So that's one way in which we can lead ourselves, and then also by doing that for ourselves, lead our team. Then the other thing that also comes up when leading ourselves is that we don't want to, especially when we are in a leadership space, we don't want to bring our own unworked through stuff into a space, right? Because it might upset the apple cart, so to speak. It might cause more disruption for the team, for the environment that we are in. So we need to work through some of the things that we are working through by ourselves first before we bring it in. Now, as I said with expectations, because it's a thought pattern, right? We're literally running the thought pattern 24/7. It is with you all the time. So it's not like I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to just switch these thought patterns off, and then I'm going to go into my team, and I'm going to work with my team, and then I will switch back on once I'm done so that I can start working through it by myself. That won't work. It's the same as emotion, right? A lot of people don't like emotion because they think they can put it in a little bottle, put it in the cupboard, and then once they come back to the house, they can take it out of the cupboard and put it back in. Emotion does not work that way, sorry to say. So if you were thinking that that is something that you do as like, oh no, I can emotionally regulate myself really well. Well, think again. There might be stuff that's really poking out that you might not be aware of, right? And I don't know if you've ever tried to have a conversation with a lamppost. Now, typically, lampposts do not have any emotion. They just stand there. Is it a very engaging conversation? If you haven't tried it with a lamppost yet, you are more than welcome to do so. But the conversations aren't very stimulating. There's no emotional interaction with said lamppost. It's more just what we give it, and that's it. And we need to work through our own emotion. Whereas if you were to have a conversation with, say, your dog, or if you don't have a dog, somebody else's dog, it is a different type of interaction. And dogs, especially with the owners, I don't know if you guys have ever seen dogs with their owners. If you are not a dog person, they are always happy to see the person. They wag their little tails. They show that they are happy, right? They have their emotion on display, and we love them for it. And that's the same with us. If we put those things in a bottle, we don't have it on display, people cannot love us for it. It's like having a conversation with a lamppost. It's a bit boring. So we want to make sure that we work on the thing that we need to work on in a way where it won't necessarily spill over into our team environment. Now, saying this, we also cannot put it in a bucket or in the closet somewhere. So we need to make sure that we do it in a way where we can still acknowledge it, right? If we have something really tough that we're working through, we can enroll others to give us grace. By doing that, we are also enrolling ourselves to give us grace. And that is part of by leading myself while I'm leading others, giving myself grace to fail, to go through the process of working through whatever the thing is that I need to work through in order to do that. Because now I'm being more like the dog. I am showing emotion, even though it's restrained a little bit, right? I am giving myself grace, which means my team is also seeing that. And when they mess up, when they are working through things, they have the permission to give themselves grace. They also know that we will give them grace because we are giving ourselves grace. So understanding that that's part of being human and being a leader. The more we can tap into, I almost want to say, the more that we can tap into our humanness. And I'm very cautious about the humanness because I think we've lost some of that. I really think that a lot of, for quite a number of years, maybe centuries even, we have migrated our humanness into our head. And we are residing in this thinking space. And we're forgetting about the rest of our being, right? We forgot about the body, right? If you were to just feel yourself, not feel yourself like this, but experience how it is to be in your own body. I have a lot of leaders that struggle. If I ask them, scan your body and feel what it is that you are noticing, they struggle. They really, really struggle to do that. And it's not because it's a fault for them that they have an incapability of scanning their body and feeling what it is that they feel in their body. It's partly because we've been conditioned to not do that anymore. We have been conditioned to stay in our head and think through things and make emotion logical because it needs to be logical. And the irony for me is we also always think about Spock. Now, if you think about Spock from Star Trek, right? Yes, they're very logical race. And if you go to the backstory, we also find that they have skewed to logic that much because they feel so deeply, right? When they do a mind meld, it's literally experiencing the whole of the other person while experiencing the whole of us. They have skewed to logic because they didn't want to feel the depth of the feeling. And I don't want us to be Vulcans. I want us to be humans. because this is the only place you can be human. This planet is the only place where you can be human in a human body and have a human experience. So have a full human experience with yourself and with your team, because that makes a difference. That makes us love you more. That makes us love each other more, as much as we love dogs, because they show emotion. They show us when they're happy. You can see when they're not enjoying something, right? We have that experience of them and we appreciate it. So why not have more of that for ourselves? I find it fascinating that we don't. And I do understand that not all emotions necessarily feel good. And it is there to be experienced. Because if we cannot experience the one, how are we going to experience the nuances and the depth of the other? We need to have boredom so that we can also have awe, understanding how that might work for us. So that's the second piece to this little puzzle. So thinking about expectations first, and then showing up as a human and really bringing all of your human emotions and all the juicinesses into your space without necessarily making it overwhelming for the other people. So we still need to regulate ourselves, right? There's a reason why we have emotional regulation. And then when we are leading ourselves, I think for me, the other thing around that is it's a continuous journey. So you are leading your life, you are creating your life, you are creating within the space of this planet with the energy that you bring into that specific area. So being able to do that means that you will evolve, you will think different about things, you will learn different things, you will continuously grow. And as we are growing, we might look back to a couple of years back and go, could have done that different. Or I didn't even think of doing it that way. So being able to learn and adapt and change the way that we approach things is part of that leading ourselves experience, while we're also leading others. And understanding, really understanding, making this a visceral experience that you can feel with your whole body. I don't care whether you are 8, 18, or 88. We are never done with learning something new and leading in a different way. Because there's always tweaks and changes. And as we interact with each other, we might lead ourselves in a different way. We might find that there's stuff that's not serving us anymore. And that would be my last point around learning and staying curious. Because in the leadership journey, it is really about staying curious and learning. I'm not going to have all the answers. And really, do I need to have all the answers? I have a whole bunch of very brilliant people around me. And I'm not expecting for any one of them to have all the answers, because I know that as a collective, we can figure it out. And sometimes we might not figure it out the way that it quite works yet. And we can revise that so we can continue our figuring out, because we stay curious and we are learning. So when you think about leading yourself, whether it is setting expectations and being aware of what sort of expectations it is that you have, so that we can be more explicit about them and agree on what those might be, whether it is bringing more of your humanness and showing more of those emotions and being regulated within that space, or whether it is learning and being curious. I would love to know from you, when you think about your own leadership and how you are leading while you are leading others, what else is it that's coming up for you that is really important when you are leading yourself and you are leading others? So with that, that's the end of our show for today. I normally work with, if you are not aware of whom I'm working with through this, I would have thought that it would give away a little bit of something. I normally work with leaders. So whether you are a new leader and you're stepping in from a place of expertise or specialization into leadership, or you are stepping up in your leadership space and you are maybe leading bigger teams, different teams, teams of teams. So that's who I work with. And for you to get hold of me, you can do that in a couple of ways. Either you can email me. My email is Mariska, M-A-R-I-S-K-A, at Journey, J-O-U-N-E-R, Y, to the number 2, discover, discover.com. So that is my email address. Otherwise, you can also find me on my website. My website has a little form that you can fill in, or you can send me a message on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, nice and easy. You can just find me. My LinkedIn profile is shown there on the screen, and then connect via LinkedIn and we can start our conversation. So that's the ways that you can get hold of me. And of course, please also subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you will find me here in our Talking Heads section of our channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio. You can also subscribe to Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. So that's our channels where you will find me. And I look forward to hearing from you and hearing how your leadership journey is changing and evolving, and what keeps you curious as you go on that journey. So until next time, bye-bye for now.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the listening mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day, Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacqueline.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.